This recipe is primarily for a terrific empanada filling, but you can make a larger quantity and actually serve it as a meal the first day and finish making it into empanadas on the second day. It's a version of a French pork daube, although with sumac in place of the traditional orange peel and a couple of other twists. Anyway, the point is that your work here will be rewarded with 2 dishes instead of just 1.
There's 3 spices that will need to be ground here for this. There's the coriander seeds, the black peppercorns, and if you're using a dried sweet chili, then this obviously is going to be ground too. I'm going to pull the stem off and put the rest in. If you read my cookbook, you'll see a lot of information about these dried sweet red chilies that I use. If you don't have that, you don't want to go to that trouble, you can use paprika. It won't be the same, but it'll work. In a bowl where I've already got the cinnamon and the sumac, I'm going to add these spices I just ground. Plus, I've got this German mustard seed. I'm going to use that with this. It's recommended if you can get the German brown mustard seed, it'll give you a better result. And a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of very dark brown muscovado sugar. And you're just going to mix this up well first. Make sure it's evenly distributed before we put the meat in. And I've got about 750 grams of pork here. This is not super lean, but it's not super fatty. And we're going to cut this into large pieces. We don't want it to be small, first of all, because it's going to shrink. And second of all, it's just the nature of the dish. You don't want little tiny pieces in this. So, you know, good size cubes like this. Just to show you what I mean by well marbled, this is a really good piece of pork. This is very hard to find in the United States because they don't let the pigs have fat like this in them. But this will be incredibly tender and it will not be greasy. Then put the meat in with the spices and massage it around. Make sure you pick up all the spices, distribute it as evenly as you can. And it's going to take a couple minutes. Make sure that the spices are coating all of the pieces of meat as evenly as possible. And through the magic of video editing, we have the pork, what it looks like the next morning. It hasn't changed much visually, but it's very aromatic now. Now we're going to begin frying it. When the pan is hot, I'm going to add a little bit of oil to get it started. And I'm going to cook the meat in 2 batches in order to make sure that it browns well. If you put it all in at once, it won't brown, it'll steam. Like this. You want to make sure there's plenty of space around the pieces of meat as they're browning. And also remember, the center of the pan is the hottest. So you're going to need to move the meat. What the parts that are over here at the edges are going to move into the center when you flip them, and vice versa, to make sure you try to get even browning on all pieces. So over here we have the rest of the meat that's waiting to go into the pan. I've sliced up the onion and I've peeled the garlic and removed the end pieces. And when the meat's like this, you've got a good brown on it, but we're not looking to get to where it's almost black, like in ossobuco or certain other dishes. This is enough. You want to not burn the spices on the outside, of course. Then put the rest of the meat in. Do the other batch. Okay, you get the rest of the meat browned. We're going to transfer that over to a bowl. Now we're going to put those onions in, and the garlic cloves, and I'd say 1 bay leaf, but these are so small that I'm using 2, and a little of the white wine just to start it deglazing. And get all that fond off the bottom of the pan here. Okay. can add the rest of the wine. And we're going to bring this up to simmer, slow boil, and let it reduce by about half. Then the reduction goes at the bottom of the braising dish, like this. Then comes the meat that was browned. Spread this around a little bit here. You actually want to make sure you layer this. Don't pour the reduction over the top of the meat. And some thyme. Tear this up a little bit too all in one place. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we're going to put the lid on this and let it braise. Okay, it's been in for 1 hour now. 1 hour of the braise time. I'm going to pick this thyme off of here. Make sure you don't leave any branches of thyme. And now I'm going to add potatoes and carrot. Still leaving it as layers here. The potato and the carrot being at the top. And the lid goes back on and it goes back into the oven. It looks like when it comes out of the oven. So, now to make the filling, which may be leftovers or it may be what you intended this for. You put some of the meat, some of the carrot, some of the potato. Exactly how much? It's up to you. This is the beauty of this recipe. It's really something you have to make a few times. Taste it. Discover how much carrot you like in it, how much onion do you like in it. Other things you can add. Chopped scallion. Very good in this. I also strongly recommend putting in some goat cheese, or in this case Greek feta. Just crumble some in. Again, how much? It's up to you. You know, in my my next volume of the cookbook, now maybe I'll give you some more specific ideas, but this will work. These will work perfectly. You can also, if you like, put in a couple of green olives. Works perfectly in empanadas. You know, you like olives, put more in. You really like them, put a lot in. But don't overdo it, because the flavor of the meat is really what you want to shine here. The seasoned meat is where the magic is. So don't kill it. Don't just load it up with olives and green onions and cheese. Otherwise you won't taste the meat. After you've processed it to nearly a paste, you take a little bit out, taste it. Remember, the olives are salty, cheese is salty. You can add a little bit more salt, but you'll have to adjust it accordingly. And some black pepper. Remember too, you want this a little saltier than you would if you were just eating it directly, because the pastry is going to kind of absorb some of that salt in your mouth. So you want it to be a pretty salty filling. And after you've added the salt and the pepper, I'm going to give it one more spin and start making your empanadas. And then we have the filling. This is a pretty ugly glob of goo, and that's the beauty of something like an empanada, because you can conceal it and turn it into something beautiful. The flavor is all there. The flavor is glorious. But of course, you know, you can't really serve a blob of this to somebody and have it be attractive. And by the way, you can also brush them with egg and bake them in a 400 degree Fahrenheit, 210 degree Celsius oven for about 15-20 minutes, and get a more common traditional type of empanada. I like them deep fried myself, but you know.
If you like my videos, look for my book. It's available on Amazon and through other internet booksellers. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.